Today being the first Thursday of the month, celebrated by performing the homas as was explained just now, which was done not merely to bring all these qualities that these gods possess to the ones who worship, but it was also to revive the ancient culture of India, of Sanatana Dharma, which believes in this idea that through such rituals and worships, one is able to transcend the limitations of humanness into the realms of supreme divinity. All people need an example, an idol to follow. Human societies have always been inspired and motivated by exemplary leaders and such great men and women of supreme qualities. And if you want to know about them, worship them, or follow them, probably you will celebrate their anniversaries, birthdays, or you will read their literature which has been written on them, or go through what they have written about themselves and their lives, or study their works in the world, the legacy, or meet the disciples or followers of such a great personality, and some way or the other would you try to learn and imbibe those qualities. How do we imbibe the qualities of such divine personalities like Lord Hanuman? By worshipping him in several ways. One of the ways is to do a homa. All the gods exist, though science may reject this idea, but spirituality does not. It believes in the concept of paroksha, that which is not directly visible or seen through the five senses, but does exist. And these gods exist in the paroksha swarupa, in the energy bodies, in energy forms. So all these homas are our way of conveying our gratitude to these gods and in turn seeking their blessings that their divine qualities may also come to us so that we also can lead such divine lives. Hanuman being one of the foremost devotees of Lord Rama, because he just did not understand that he is just the servant of Rama. But over a period, he understood that he and Rama are one and the same at the very fundamental level. Bhakti, karma, jnana, these are the three paths that our spirituality teaches us in India. Karma-marga is to do your duty without any expectations, offering everything to the divine as a service. And whatever comes in return, you accept it as your prasadam. There is nothing like more or less or well deserved or not deserved. Whatever comes from the divine is accepted with humility. Karma-marga. Then there is this bhakti-marga where you do everything. You sing and dance and sing the glory and pray, perform all kinds of rituals, worships in order to propitiate that divine, in order to win the divine's grace. It could be a name or a form that you are devoted to. So that also is allowed in our culture. And those rituals are also a part of Sanatana Dharma. And then there is this idea of jnana, where this kind of bhakti, this kind of karma should lead you to the ultimate wisdom that you and the divine are one and the same, probably physically different, but ultimately you are the same. That jnana marga is the Advaita. Bhakti marga, you can say Vishishta Advaita. Karma marga is like Dvaita, you do as a servant to the master. So, what did Hanuman do? He came in as a servant of the Lord, karma marga, developed devotion for Rama, became a bhakta foremost, and ultimately gained the wisdom that he and his master are not two different entities. At the very fundamental basic level, Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha, I am one with my master, my divine Rama. Many people start off on the karma marga by doing service or offering what they are offering to God. May also proceed into bhakti, that do it with complete devotion, complete dedication. Nothing else occupies their mind other than their Ishtadevata. But not many people reach the transcendence of jnana, where they feel they are one with the divine and there is no separation over there. However, Hanuman had this quality that he reached there also. Somebody asked me, which marga is the better? which marga is better than the other one, which is the supreme. Adi Shankaracharya says in Viveka Chudamani, do what you want. Vadantu shastrani, yajantu devanam, kurvantu karmani, bhajantu devataha, atmaikya bodhena vinapi mukti, na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. Do as much worship as you want, read as many scriptures, do homa, yajna, yaga, go after the gods. But at the end, without realizing who you truly are, Atma Aikya Bodha, that I am, that is Atma is one in all. That Bodha, that understanding, that knowledge and experience, without that, Mukti, this idea of moksha, this idea of liberation, cannot be attained. In Brahma Shatantarepi, in the 100 years of Brahma, our 100 years itself, we are not able to attain. 100 years of Brahma, Yuga Yugantara, it will take, but you cannot attain that unless you reach that stage of oneness with the divine. So, what happens when you become one with the divine? Will you stop worshipping, following all these pujas, rituals, homas? Will you stop working in the hospitals and canteens and schools? No, you will work even more devotedly, even more perfectly, even more committedly, because now you know the truth, and that truth makes you even better instruments of the divine. So, you start as an instrument, become the divine, and once you realize divinity, you become even better instruments. So, jnana is the ultimate wisdom of oneness with the divine. Bhakti is the ultimate way of loving the divine, and karma is the ultimate way of serving the divine. All three are allowed, and like a sweet which has a shape, which has a weight, and also has sweetness. Likewise, karma, bhakti, jnana are not different from each other if you really see in the ultimate analysis. But based on your liking, you may start one way and end up in the other. You can start with worships, bhakti, and you will end up serving the Lord also. And ultimately, you will realize that Lord and you are one and the same. Similarly, you start with karma, become a good instrument, selfless instrument of the divine, do everything for the sake of the divine. And you will develop more and more nearness to the divine, dearness to the divine. And with that, slowly you will transform into the divine. Ultimately, you will also attain the same wisdom. Or you start with reading the scriptures, contemplating on them, completely, convincingly believing in them, not doubting the scriptures, but completely believing in them. With that also you will develop that oneness with the divine. Ultimately, you will become the foremost devotee and the foremost servant of the divine. For the great Gyanis also do not desist from serving the people or acting out their duties. Atma Krida Atmarati Kriyavan Esha Brahmavedam Varishtaha. Who are the best among the knowers of the Lord or the divine or the Brahman? Atma Krida Atmaratihi Kriyavan. They're happy within themselves. When they look outside, they see the divine everywhere, but still they're very active. They don't say, all this is Maya. Why should I even work? Why should I work in the hospital? Why should I worry about that patient or some student? Why should I even do any rituals? Why should I read any scriptures? Why should I even talk to people? After all, I'm a Brahmagyani. This idea itself does not come to them. Many people think this is how Brahmagyanis would generally like to live. They don't like to live like this. For them, whatever comes their way, pravruttau va nivruttau va, naiva dhirasya durgraha, yadayat kartuma ayati, tad krutva tishtate sukham. They do whatever is required to be done as and when it comes to them without any idea of I want to do it, I don't want to do it, I like it, I don't like it. These kind of ideas don't exist in the Brahmagyanis. I like this work, I don't like that work. I would like to serve you this way, I would not like to serve you another way. I would like to do these kind of rituals, those I want to avoid. These kind of divisive ideas, these don't exist at all in these people. Because they are so in tune with the divine, they see everything as that one divine. So they cannot find the difference between karma, bhakti, jnana. These are all in the external. Internally, they are same. Whether you come to take the Chikbalapur road, come to the hospital, take Nandi road, come to the hospital, or take some other road from VTU side and come to the hospital, ultimately you'll reach the hospital because that is important. Roads are not as important as the destination that you're reaching finally. So all these margas are just ways of people reaching the same destination. No, nothing is superior or inferior. But one thing is sure that after all your karma and bhakti, if it has not led you to jnana, then it has not been true bhakti, it has not been true karma. And if you're a jnani and not engaged in bhakti and karma, then you're not a true jnani at all. So when you see a jnani, if somebody asks me, when you know there is a Brahma jnani, what happens? Does he hide in a cave where nobody can go? Nobody can see him. They only can know by listening about stories about him. What happens? How are Brahmagyani is going to be? This is how they are. They are very busy. They are active. They are doing what they need to do in the society. They don't have to run away and hide anywhere. They are perfect instruments of the divine. They express the divine all the time. They are completely absorbed in devotion to that one idea of divinity. And they have no such qualms about this God is superior, this is lesser, that scripture is superior, this is lesser. They don't even engage in such wasteful conversations. And all the time they are completely immersed in their truth. They see everything as equal. Some panditaha, samadarshinaha. They see everything as equal. They don't differentiate, they don't divide based on external differences. This is the true idea of a divine being. Why Hanuman is important? Hanuman is important because he's very relatable. He starts as an animal birth, naturally because he was born to an animal mother, and he couldn't have been any other way. But as he grows, being very notorious, very difficult to handle, but slowly from there he elevates. He attains that wisdom, jnana, he develops bhakti, and becomes the supreme devotee of the divine within that lifetime only. No need of Brahmashatan therapy. Because he simply has completely dedicated. So, what is there for our students in it? Come in sixth class like Bala Hanumans, extremely notorious, not listening, breaking things, not following discipline. I agree. But by the time you postgraduate, you should have been this Hanuman that we talked about just now. Who should have learnt all these things and become the perfect devoted instrument of the divine. Not even instrument, actually divine. That is something that our institution can help you achieve. And if you put sincere effort, you will achieve it. Shraddhavan labate sarvam. If with Shraddha you follow these principles, why Brahma Shatan therapy? Why your Shatan therapy? Within a matter of 10 years of your studies and graduation, post-graduation, you all will be divine instruments, divine beings. No doubt about it. This is your opportunity, is what I keep telling all the time. You want to do seva? Perfectly possible. You want to do rituals? Karma kanda, bhakti? Perfectly possible. You want to contemplate on these great scriptural truths, meditate? Definitely possible. You want to do all of it? Always possible. You start from wherever, you ultimately end up in the same place. So never we have to undermine somebody's spiritual efforts because they do it in a certain way. But what I told the Vatus today is, it's very interesting. There are new 5, 6 fellows have joined this year. And I've told take only 5 or so that we give a lot of attention and we make them very good. And once we have more capacity, we will see. So this year also. And one boy who joined here, sitting over here, and I asked him, where have you come from, so and so place? What does your father do? He said, my father is a software engineer. Then I asked him, your father is a software engineer. Why don't you want to become a software engineer? Why do you want to study Vedas in a Veda Gurukulam? He said, I am a Brahmana. It is my duty to study Vedas. This is why I want to join. That understanding at that age, that I am a Brahmana, I have a duty. Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam. Gunakarma Vibhagashaha. Krishna says, I have created 4 classes of people who have 4 kinds of duties. And Brahmanas have a duty. Brahmana is not a position of privilege. It's a position of responsibility, of duties that they have to discharge towards the society, of upholding Veda Dharma, of teaching the society the right path by leading it themselves by example. They have the duty to dedicate their energies, time, efforts in learning and teaching and promoting and propagating scriptural truths. They have this responsibility of training the next generation and continuing the parampara. It's not a privileged thing to be of a certain type. It's a duty. So also there is a duty to Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, everybody. But then I told him one shloka and told you, just contemplate on it this. Janmanat jayate Shudraha Samskara dvija uchyate, Veda patanat bhavet vipraha, Brahma janati iti brahmana. By birth you are not Brahmana. Krishna also says, Guna karma. By your gunas you become Brahmana. By your karma you become Brahmana. Not by your janma. And so guna karma vibhagasha basis which we have classified. But what he says also is that when you are born, we are all born animals only. We are not born any different from each other. We all want food. We want to be protected. We have fears. We want sleep. All the basic instincts are ingrained in every single person, boy, girl, young, old. Whoever is born first, they are born as animals only. Then that is like Shudra life is like animal life. They were happy eating, sleeping, and making money. And when again trouble comes, then they start working. Once the work is over, they get some money, they want to relax. And so they're very lazy, dominated by tamas. Then comes the second verse, second padam of this sloka, which says, Samskara dvija uchyate. By samskara, samskara is not just that upanayanam yajnopavitam samskara. That is one way of saying that samskara when you do, you are twice born. You are born now as a human. First, you are born as a animal like creature. Now you are born into a human birth because now you know what to do with your human birth. Earlier you did not know. You thought eating, sleeping, making merry, having pleasures, and ultimately dying is all that it's about. But now you know it's not so because some guru comes and makes you understand that you're born for a greater purpose. So samskara happens. Samskara means refinement. When a singer is singing badly and practices and becomes a better singer, samskara has happened to the singer. When you know how to behave better in the society because you have got a good education, then samskara has happened to you. Likewise, this particular creature who is born just for eating, sleeping, and thinking that that's all his life is told and taught through an education system, through a ritual that now your duty is towards learning and propagating knowledge. So samskara dvija uchyate. Then these are called dvijas. They are still not called Brahmins. They are called dvija, twice born. Dvija. Aja means be born and dvi means second time. So they are now born into human beings because they are able to grow into a good human being. The third padam says, this is not over. Now I have got one Upanayanam. Now I am classified, qualified, verified Brahmin. No, not at all. Next step. Veda patanat bhavet vipraha. Now you have to study the Vedas, as the third part of the shloka says. Why you should study Vedas? All dharmas are there in Vedas. And your job is to uphold dharma, propagate dharma, promote dharma, and vidya, knowledge. So now study. So now you have Dvija, third stage, you study and you become Vipraha. You become a person of knowledge, a Pandit, who understands, who has studied all the scriptures, who is capable of explaining and teaching it. But are you still a Brahmana? The question, not yet, he says. So what if you have memorized all the four Vedas and all Puranas and Shastras, you know all the rituals, and you have led a life of whatever, Vipra? You are still only a Pandit, only a knower of scriptures. You have not become Brahmana, he says. So when do we become Brahmana? It says, Brahma janati iti Brahmana. When I know Brahman, when I know that I am divine, when I know I am one with Rama, Atma bhavena, Tvameva aham. When I know I am that Atma, the Atmaikya Bodha happens, then you are Brahmana. Till then you don't reach. So all those who pride themselves by being, they should take a little lesson from this one sloka. Of course, you are born in a kula of people who are pursuing this path of Brahma Jnana. Therefore, you have a special privilege that you will be having access to that path, that knowledge. But that access to that path and knowledge brings responsibility to you, not authority. And when will you know that you have truly achieved the purpose of your life? Is when you know Brahman. So anybody who knows Brahman is a Brahmana. There is a Upanishadic story is there. In Chandogya Upanishad, I think it comes. Satyakama is there, one boy, who goes to the Rishi to learn, to join the Gurukulam. And in the admission form, the first thing is, what is your name? What is your father's name? So the Rishi asks, what is your Gotra? Not father's name, Gotra. Gotra means from which lineage are you coming? Who was your father, grandfather, who was his grandfather, whatever that lineage, so that I know that you are coming from so and so lineage. He says, I don't know. I don't know anything. Then he says, find out, go home, find out, and then come, and then we can fill the application, and then you can join the Gurukulam officially. So he goes running back to his mother and tells his mother, Mother, which Gotra, Kim Gotra, which Gotra am I coming from? Mother is perplexed. She says, I have been serving in many households. I have been a dasi. I do not know who is your father. I cannot give you the name of the father, nor I can give you the name of the Gotra. Look at in today's time, something like this would be like judged so harshly. But in those days, she said, this is the truth. I can't hide this from you. I don't know who is your father. The only thing I know that my name is Jabala and your name is Satyakama. This is all is our identity in this world. We don't know anything more than this. And this boy goes back to the Grishi and tells, this is what I know about myself. Aham Satyakamo Jabalasya Putraha. So Satyakama Jabala is my name. And Jabala is a woman, not a male Gotra and whatever. And the Rishi accepts him as a disciple. He says, you are so truthful and honest. You didn't lie to me. This is a quality of a true Brahmin. They don't lie for the sake of personal gains. This young boy goes and says the things as they are. Satyam Bruyat. And tells that this is what my identity is. If you accept me, I'll be happy. So Rishi accepts him as a disciple. His admission is complete. So when people come to our Gurukulam also, I don't ask all these questions. I only ask, are you interested in studying? Are you interested in becoming a better human being? Take it from me, if you really follow this education system, you will be a Brahmana at the end. Whichever kula you come from, I don't care. But at the end, you will be a Brahmana, true Brahmana. Which is the true Brahmana? Brahma Janati. He knows the truth. He knows the truth of divinity within and without. Such a person, such lofty goals are the goals of this education system. It doesn't stop you at just being servants of the divine or devotees of the divine. It will lead you all the way to being divine. If you put efforts sincerely. That is the terms and conditions. If you take interest and study. So take this as an opportunity. You get to do rituals on one side, worship these deities, learn about their character, learn about their qualities and try to imbibe them. Then you have a beautiful environment. You can do seva, you can do sadhana, you learn scriptures, paravidya. All this has been introduced with great effort to ensure that everybody gets equal opportunities. The other day we heard the right to live for God is also a fundamental right. But how will they lead a life like that? How will they exercise the right if nobody gives them? Especially if they're born in a certain particular community. They don't have access to this knowledge. But I've made it available. So that everybody gets at least some understanding of what these scriptural truths are, what is the purpose of life, and they attain this purpose at the end. And not in some Brahmashatantra. Here and now. If any spirituality tells you you'll get moksha after doing so many things after so many times, that's no spirituality. Spirituality should assure you, if you are sincere in effort, here and now you will know Brahman. That is true Sanatana Dharma. That's your opportunity. How many ever times I may repeat in whatever ways, in how many ever words, I can never do justice to the opportunity that you all have received, especially the students. Of course, staff, devotees, everybody. Especially the students, because they're starting early. They're starting on the right foot. No comparison about how glorious this opportunity is compared to anything else in the world. And this is your great opportunity. You must utilize it well. Attend all these events with great sincerity. Do some pre-studies. Some homework can come today or tomorrow. Hanuman Homa is there. Let me read about what Hanuman is. What are these things? And today, because today it was all Hanuman Homa, I'll give you a Bija mantra of Hanuman which I used to chant and practice. It really gives you the strength to follow in the footprints of Hanuman. Om Ham Hanumate Rudratmakaya Hum Fat. This is the Bija mantra. You chant it 108 times daily and you see how much strength it gives you. And what he said, the balance of body, balance of mind, emotional balance. and spiritual balance. All this comes to those who really worship Him. Worshipping Him means following Him, to trying to imitate Him, try to become Him. That is true worship. Worship is not putting a photo and waving an arati and doing what you want in your life. That is not worship at all. Truly, worship is imbibing those qualities by sincerely trying to practice them. And you take one step in this path, 100 steps God will take to bless you with the ability to imbibe these qualities and become one like Hanuman. So every month, when you have another homa, no child is denied access to these homas because you are born differently or your gotra is to be asked. Nothing like that. All have equal rights, boys and girls. It happens even in girls' campuses. Of course, there are simple homas done. There are serious rituals, long rituals that specifically trained people only should undertake. That is understandable. But this basic understanding of a spirituality, rituals, should be the birthright of every person born in Bharat, irrespective of their caste, community, whatever, gender. Everybody should have access to this basic understanding of Sanatana Dharma. That is what will build a better society. And when the education system of the world, or at least of India, reinvents itself to tune itself to these great ideals of Sanatana Dharma, take it from me, there will be so many Hanumans in the future who will do so much good to the world. And that is what I expect out of all of you. So please make good use of this opportunity and come out as Hanumans, the wisdom, the wise Hanuman, the Gyanis at the other end, not the ones that enter with the Jnana. So this whole journey you have to undertake and make sure that it happens by the time you postgraduate, not take forever, because it can be done. It is possible. This is my blessing and assurance. With that, I conclude.